There's a million different ways that you can describe this or how you perceive things. Like it keeps changing. How you perceive things, how you see things, it keeps changing. Like it's never stagnant. So after a certain point, a lot of things don't make sense anymore. That kind of big or subtle tendency of that personal energy, or the energy that wants safety and control, it needs to know or make things permanent somehow. It wants to really understand and grasp things. And largely because how you perceive things keeps changing, and in all of these subtle ways, all of these subtle details, you end up not being able to say anything or not wanting to say anything because it feels impossible or off or fraudulent or fake somehow to confidently say anything for sure. And everything flattens, everything dies. The need to convince others or have this happen to others or feeling bad for others or like all of it flattens. How things are experienced in the body also flattens. Like there was a period where so much was building up in this body, probably because I was spending way too much time on YouTube. And I would advise people to not spend time on YouTube because it's a horrible place. It really is. Unless it's something that helps you calm down or something. But sometimes the noise there, it's like it's also good at making the body addicted, needing more, very fear driven. Like if you don't know this, you need to know this. You need to stay up to date, and it's made to capture and keep your attention. And overall it's not healthy for the body. Being exposed to that is so bad. So anyways, for different reasons, YouTube was a big part of this, but for different reasons a lot of pressure was building up in this body. And then certain personal things happened where there was a lot of demand on this body. And it just kind of erupted. Like it cried a lot. And I haven't cried like that in so long. And it wasn't even nice. It wasn't even necessary. It wasn't a good or bad thing. There was no flavor to it. It was so flat. And the next day I could see, yeah, I probably relieved the body of something, but even that was minuscule. Like it wasn't registered in the same way. It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't important. It wasn't a huge relief. It's strange. Something wasn't registering it anymore. The body was just going through what it went through. But there was something that was totally not there. It was totally absent. And if you had to just use a word to sum it up concisely, it was that energetic flavor of me that's like intertwined in it, making it something, making meaning out of it, seeing importance in it, or seeing devastation in it, seeing a progression to it, seeing yeah, interpreting it or feeling it in its own way. Like that was gone. So it was flat. Everything was flat. Very easily forgotten about, not a big deal. I don't know what to make of it, really, you know? But yet still talking about it happened, but all of it was empty. All of it. And you know, in the moment, I ended up telling someone close to me how I was feeling exactly. And before I could see with the personal energy, I would have held it in, or I would have tried to, yeah, hold in the burden. Like, have this feeling of like, I can deal with it. And have more hesitancy to say exactly how I feel or how things are affecting me. But this time there wasn't that central energy anymore that was dictating or making meaning out of that. Things were just said, and again, I can't really make anything out of that. It just is what it is. Like, I could say it's beautiful and it's a good thing, because in a way it is. There's none of that spiritual identity that thinks that it should be more advanced and therefore shouldn't be bothered by this, or shouldn't say this kind of stuff, or should deal with it, be able to deal with it on my own, or however that energy interprets things. It twists things up so much. It's never just what it is, it's always very complicated. So nowadays, a lot of things that happen, not that a lot happens, but a lot of things that happen feel like it's not necessary to mention, because that's just how it feels. And sometimes I just say it anyways, so people know that this body goes through things too. But nothing here cares too much anymore. Just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore. Um, you know, I could say that it's different. Everything's different. But, you know, at least when it comes to, let's say, my mom, there's a tendency there to feel more important than the child, you know? But for here, I don't see child and parent. I don't see hierarchy in any way, no degree whatsoever. The energy to distinguish in that way has died. It's gone. So there is no feeling of less than or better than. And when it's sensed in another, it's just sensed. Like, it is what it is. There is no person that is without that. And so there can be a response to that stuff because I can't, especially if you're close to me and there's like an expectation for me to treat you better than me. Or if there's a sense there that I see sometimes with spiritual people that they think they're less than me. And it's usually because they're also listening to other spiritual teachers. I don't consider myself a fucking spiritual teacher. That's like not necessary for me to have that label, or it's not that it's gross anymore. It's just like I don't know what that is. It's completely lost its meaning to me. But usually if these people are listening to other spiritual teachers and they're coming to me for whatever reason, I could sense that there is a sense of they think that this is more special somehow. And I know it's because there's so many out there who are still just people, and they do think that they are special, more special than others. They exude that. There is a flavor of that, an undertone in how they speak, how they are, what they say. It's all about hierarchy, and the person listening or following can sense that, and they are familiar with that. Everybody's familiar with that, being treated less than or feeling like they're better than. It'll flip flop. It just depends on who you're relating to. And so, anyway, since that's gone here, it doesn't exist. It's not real. You know, certain people who have a strong idea or sense of that, that's close to me. Like it could seemingly be difficult for them to be around me. Because I can't. This body can't act the way that they want. And it's really less of a problem now. Like there can be a response in the moment, but this body forgets about it quite quickly. I don't care. There's nothing that holds on to it anymore. There's nothing that actually feels less than, that actually doubts itself and feels unworthy somehow still. And that took a lot of time, and it wasn't like a lot of other things just kind of fell away too, and that was one of the things that fell away. It's not like that just falls away. It's like a lot of things just subtly diminish or change, And I wasn't dictating every single thing. Like you can't. It doesn't work like that. So anyways, there's no dislike for my mom. I can, like, I don't even know if this is true, but I can sense that she's changed as well. I don't even think she holds on to that much either. Yeah, and I feel like I joke a lot more, Like the body really does let things go quite quickly. And it's not even letting go, it's just forgotten about. Nothing lingers too much anymore. Not that it's a problem if it does. It doesn't matter if it does. Yeah, you see, sometimes it's so hard to know what the hell you're talking about. Because nothing's important, none of this matters. Nothing that's being said is important at all. And since you can't know or expect anything, like you don't know what this will be like, you just can't. Things have to just go in order for you to see what is there. And so yes, a lot of the personal stuff has gone, you know. This self, this me, this my life is gone. And therefore largely there isn't an energy that cares about what happens. Like it's completely fine with going now. It just doesn't care. Like meaning there isn't anything I need to fulfill anymore. There isn't that energy that's desperate to go on and stuff like that. It's just gone. And so without that, like a lot has changed, a lot has gone, and yet the there are subtle things that the body is has been still feeling, the difficulties of the mundane things, the ordinary things, the seeing that there is actually no escape from the system, the difficulty of living in a made up system, in a system where there is a caste system, a hierarchy. There are actually billionaires and millionaires while there are poor people on the street starving, and workers who have to work so much just to make ends meet, and you're sort of lied to. Like you're not really told the truth about what is going on. It's a type of indoctrination and brainwashing that everyone has been through to be able to fit in to the system and just do it because everyone else is doing it, and everyone else is not really truly able to fully question it because there's just too much suffering and there's too much self-doubt. And so I don't mean this in a bad way, it just is what it is. But when there's me focus, you can't really see what's going on because it's through your own filter of everything. So it's not clear at all. It's really cluttered with your own sense of not feeling safe, just wanting comfort, just wanting to get by, feeling fear, feeling excited, wanting this, wanting that, desiring this. There's so much, so much. So you don't really see what's actually going on, which is fine. It just is what it is. But without that, in a very subtle and empty way, you really see how fucked up this whole thing is. How it's set up is so twisted. And it's like, of course you would be twisted. Of course the person would be twisted, being brought up and indoctrinated into this twisted system where the body is forced to do things it doesn't want to do, forced to believe that you have a purpose, you have these gifts that you should and need to share. That is the meaning in life, or that's important. You're important. Like no one has any idea how twisted that actually gets, and that's not peace, that's not emptiness, that's not anything important, unfortunately. But it's hard to, you can't accept it. There's no way you can accept it. That's not how this goes. It's a death where in the natural eventual death or dissolving of all of the this and that, all of the confusion and complexity. In the absence of that, you really see how twisted everybody is, the whole world is, how deep it goes. Even in subtle ways, every single human body is so twisted, unless they're completely, completely dead while the body's still alive. Yeah, and again, it's not important. I'm just saying how it's seen here now. And yeah, even in the subtlest ways, everyone is so twisted. There's a lot of twistedness. And of course, there are different degrees. There's people who are massively twisted. And that's really creepy to be around or see or be exposed to, let alone be near. Like, what does it take for a human body to get to a place where you have a million, 100 million, 1,000 million, which is a billion, I guess, and still want more, still need more, still want a trillion, because that's where it's going. There are multiple billionaires now, which wasn't the case before, and it's probably because money is being extremely devalued as well. You know, there's just more. More has been printed ever since before COVID too, but I think because of COVID as a story, like, it's massively devalued now. So I think most are really struggling, like the day-to-day people. But even if you have more money, it's a lot less than what it was worth 2, 5, 10 years ago. Like, worth a lot less. And you don't really see that is how they're sneakily stealing from you without really telling you what's going on. We're not taught finances. Even those that are taught finances, you still can't really see how twisted it actually is. You're told things like the trickle down effect. No, it doesn't work. It's always been the trickle up effect. Like, that's how it's built. This was never really built for the people, for the masses. It's for the ones in power who are in power, who have made the rules and the system. And I don't know that for sure, but it's like, it also kind of makes sense even over time. Why wouldn't it become like that? Why wouldn't the people in power want more power and actually feel more fear potentially? Because the mass majority are just the people enslaved in this system. And it's an empty story, but it's like, we do have power. We do. It's just that we're so brainwashed and blinded, and probably also in fear. And so we're used to being just sheep-like, which is understandable. I don't think that you just can't see it clearly when you're a person anyways. I don't see how it's not possible. And so only because I've died, and not that I expected to see the world more clearly. Like, you can't know that that's gonna happen. But here it is now. Here I am now. It just is what it is, and it's beautiful to see it more clearly. But it's also, there's nothing here that really cares either. There's nothing here that, there is no important story that's like everybody needs to wake the fuck up, or die, before the body dies. Like, there's nothing that feels like that's important or even truly possible, or like, I don't analyze it. I don't think about it in that way. I'm just expressing how it's seen right now, and it can change. It probably will change. I don't know how, but everything constantly is changing. And you don't really expect to truly understand what it takes for the body to be forced to do things it doesn't want to do. And what it doesn't want to do is to do things for money. It doesn't want to be forced to act and behave and say certain things just for money, just to pay bills, just to have shelter and food. It sees how strange and twisted that is, and how fake it is, how made up it is. How much force it takes. It's crazy how thorough this gets, because there was a period where I didn't know if continuing was possible, and things kept dying and things kept shifting. Like, it became less of a problem, and yet in a way it became more like strange. It became more, why the fuck are we living this way? This is really, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense that we're all lost and deluded, and since a young age we've been so indoctrinated into all of this. So like, it's the norm, and everyone's doing it, so it's the norm. So it makes sense in that way, but it really doesn't make sense overall. How humans got to this place. Like, we're a really strange species that truly believe that we're better. And yet, most of what we're doing is twisting each other up, telling each other that some of us have the answer and the right way to be and act and feel, and others don't. And yeah, we are doing things to the world that is absolutely destructive and harmful and killing everything, for the name of the economy and growth and more. We want better. Q2 needs to be better than Q1. Q3 needs to be better than Q2. And on it goes, on and on, forever and ever and ever, and there's no end. all in the name of a digital number on the screen. It's very, very strange. And you know, as a story, like, yeah, we've made a lot of advancements where, yeah, we don't die of certain diseases anymore. Life expectancy has increased in ways, I guess, but when is it enough? Like, why isn't this enough already? Why do we keep having to advance and destroy? And violently go forward? Who cares if you kill more people, more nature, more animals? And I know that most people don't agree. They would rather not have that. And so, you know, there is no answer. I don't know the answer. The person always has an answer, and it's usually just twisted, just misled again. All I know is that the insanity is really clear, and it's impossible to play along, impossible to feed the machine, unless it's for your survival, unless you need shelter and food, you know. But even then, it's like, it's not that important to live. It's totally okay now if things ended here. And yet simultaneously, there is no energy that needs to destroy the body. There's no I don't know what to call it. That's a very forceful, it seems like personal energy that needs to destroy itself, or that has that much violence, you know. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just describing that goes too. There's no energy to do that, to cause harm to others, to corrupt others, to convince others, to force others to copy your perspective or anything like that. All of that force is gone. And so largely, I don't really think about it, but if I had to describe it, it's like the energy to change anyone or to care if they're any different, like a lot, all of it really goes. And so everything doesn't matter after a while. All of it. It's not beautiful, it's not good or bad. It's just, it is how it is. And I forgot what I just said. When something's gone, it's just gone. I do want to say how nice it is that it feels like you can't succumb to anyone. Like you can't force the body to act a certain way to make someone else happy or more, like, feel more right in their delusion or stance, or like without trying, without effort, the body comes first. That's just the way it is now. And yeah, not, it's just the way it is. It can't really be otherwise. This took a long time though. There were still subtle reasons why there was still energy to try to subtly please people in the subtlest ways, just to perhaps, for example, just be nice, or just because, maybe they need help, or yeah, maybe I could help them somehow, or but largely what was seen was that they're just so lost. It's so much clutter, and the closer you get to people, the more you get to know someone, the more twisted you see. They are very twisted. That's all. That's really what you see. Again, it always varies with different people, meaning some people I just don't care. Nothing really cares unless I'm guessing, unless like something happens where then this body is harmed to a big-ish degree, where it's just like, yeah, it's not worth it anymore because I don't get anything. I don't need this. I'm this body is perfectly fine on its own now, so it's not lonely, it's not needy, it's not anything, and so it's okay. Like, it's finally just okay. But again, most people won't understand this. They will say things like, no, you should be there for others, help people. But the only reason that feels very true and real and important and holds a lot of gravity is because there's a lot of gunk there. And I say gunk in a very neutral way. It doesn't matter if it's there or not. But I'm just saying that this body was the same. There was a lot here that still felt like it was lovely and a good thing to be there for others. And what inevitably happens is you do sacrifice the body in a lot of different ways, but it's not going to feel like that to you, perhaps because there's emptying out that is still happening. There's still learning that's happening, there's still things that emerge because of that interaction, and in a way it's welcomed to see all of that stuff, it's all fine. But this body has already been through all of that to the nth degree, and now it's empty. It's like more than empty. It feels like it got empty, and then it tried to live in the old way again. Then it got empty, and then it, in more subtle ways, engaged. Then it got emptier, and now it's at a point where it's like, this description does not even, no description makes sense anymore. But that energy that's at the center, it's just so gone. Just so gone. Nothing can be bothered to engage. Like, for what?